Okay, so I spotted it, and I think you guys spotted it as well. And I think it was a very silly mistake that I was making, that I was doing this thing, COC, then info. I was hitting tab space, and I thought it was correct, but I had to hit tab space again to reach that option of COC-install, and I was on CSC-info, and then I was doing CSC-clang-d, and since clang-d is not there, so how can it give me information about that? For example, if I do CSC-info CSC-jira, maybe it might give, okay, no. Okay, that was a bad example, but yeah, we found what was the problem. Let me just open up Vim, right? Now if I do COC install, again install CLC-clang-d, so it's going to install it. Okay, and just to test it whether it's doing the completion on C files, C++ files or not, let's do a test.cc, a C file. If I do hash include, okay, wait, there was a message at the base. Okay, so we can see that it said that clang-d was not found in your path. Use COC command clang-d.install with install. Will install clang-d maybe. So you don't have to separately install clang or clang-d. This will do it for you. Let me just open this and do COC command as it said. clang-d.install, I think, and it is downloading. It says it's downloading clang-d Linux or whatever, it might say a different thing for you. So it is doing that, it is downloading it, and it's now extracting it, and now it should be done, something like that. So let me quit out of here, let me go into this. The message is not appearing. Let's try and hash in. Okay, so it's working. If I do enter here and do iOS stream, okay, so it's giving me options. For example, using namespace std and main, so it's working. You can see it's working. If I do, for example, cout hello viewers, I don't know spelling, welcome to the third video, something like that. Okay, and yeah, it's C, right? And you can see when I'm hitting enter, it's not going here, but it's coming at the not here, but at the appropriate position where it should be. And let's do that. Okay, there's a problem, and it detected that problem. It is trying to say something. It might not be visible. Let's change the color scheme, something that might help us see it. Blue. Okay, so it says implicit conversion. Yeah, I mean we use something here that shouldn't be there, and all the errors are gone. Let's write input, try to compile it, and it compiled, I think, a.out, and that helped, that worked. Okay, let's remove that a.out and test.cc. Let's test it for a C file as well, maybe. Okay, so let's do hash include, same thing. So it's working, I think, giving the options, void main. Okay, so is it working? So if I do printf, go inside, will it give me a percentages? If I do, okay, so it's giving me some options as well, like it was doing. Okay, so it's working. Hello, and let's compile this. It's compiled. and it worked. Let me remove those things. Okay, so we can see the auto completion is working. So now the auto completion for C and C++ is working. Similarly, you can look up for some other language that you use. Give me a minute, sorry. So you can use it, I mean, whatever language you are working on. I'm sure CSC.nvim thing provides it, so you can do some research on the internet. I generally use these languages, so, and I'm learning them. So now I was talking about this thing. Before that, let me show you another important problem and issue. This one. Wait, let me show it. Right, let's open, for example, vimrc. Right, let's open it. So now if I try to scroll down, you can see something happening. If I try to, for example, let's go down here. Okay, now if I try to scroll up, it's working, but when I try to scroll down, it's not working. Maybe it will work for you, but it's not working for me right now. So this was one problem that I faced, and I'm using Arch Linux. I faced this in Arch Linux, especially in the ST terminal. Maybe it's not specific to ST terminal. Okay, let me just select all of this and remove it using, then going into the visual mode and then collecting it all and so it's all deleted, the buffer deleted. So what I'm saying is you might also face that. So I found a solution to that. It was just this piece of code on Reddit again, and it was posted under r/Arch Linux. So maybe it was specific to Arch Linux. Maybe still you can use it. Maybe try it and if it works or not. Let us give this a comment just to remind us what this does. Tab for auto, and here we go, auto completion. And okay, and let's give this a comment. Let's call it the mouse scrolling. Let's paste that. That should work. If I go back to vimrc, sorry, okay, vi is not here. It might be there for you. And now when I'm scrolling down, it's working totally fine. Up, down, it's working totally fine. Okay, so this was a small little issue that I thought I should talk about, because I made a series on Arch Linux, and if you are following me from there, you can use this. Now let's go back here. I was talking about this thing, and I said that this is used in, what do we say, web development, right? I mean HTML, CSS, maybe HTML, CSS, and XML, stuff like that. So we are just, what we are going to do is we are just going to do a plug install like we do. Here is the installation using vim plug. That is what we are using. As I was talking, there are many other plugin installers called Pythogen, Wandle, other stuffs. So we are just going to do this. We can just do either, we can just add this line, or we can add the whole this thing to the vimrc. So we are going to do that. I'm pressing O on that. It's giving me auto completion options. Let me see, and I paste that, comment it as web development stuff, and let's do plug install once again. Plug install, and it's installing that and doing something. And okay, so it did it. Let's now test it out. Before that, let's read a little bit about it. It gives us a quick tutorial. So let me open up a vim index. Do we have anything here? No. Let's do index.html or html, whatever. Now what we gotta do is we can we know there's a structure, right? The header, the body, the first of all the HTML tags, then head, body, and within head there are some things, title and stuff. So that all basic thing can be used, and we're done using this. So there's a keybind for using this. I can use HTML5, and while being in the insert mode I can do tab and comma. If I do tab comma, okay, maybe not tab comma, it doesn't generally work for me. Wait a minute, let us see the cursor position. Control Y. Okay, so it's saying Control Y. Sorry, I just remember something else. So I do Control Y. It's not working, and I have seen that generally on Arch it doesn't work. So for that I went here and redefined the trigger key. So what, wait a minute, control, let me just see, Control Y comma, okay, it worked. So okay, it works, sorry, I forgot about that. If I do Control Y and comma, comma being a type of, maybe something type of trigger. So when I do Control Y and comma, it provides me with this type of thing. Let me just go to normal mode, press U to undo all of that. So what I did was just type this HTML5:5, and then I came into insert mode, then Control Y and then comma. So that was that, and let me undo it, and it says that we can redefine the trigger key, right? Like it is Control Y, it can be redefined as Control Z or anything that you like. So let's make it as short as possible. So I'll go to the vimrc, to go to the totally to the end of the file, to the very last of the file, we can use Shift G, which means capital G. Like if I press Shift G, being in the normal mode, my cursor is at the very last. As you can see, if I do GG, small g twice, at the very top. Let's go to the very last line. Before that, let me copy this particular thing with the YY. I'm yanking it, Y, then P to paste it, then O to go to the next line, and then what were we going to do? Yeah, we are going to redefine. So I just I will use a comma. I'll use a comma for that, and let's go to index.html. Let's do insert. Now if I do a comma and again a comma, we can see that thing got presented here, and it's working only for, I'll say, normal mode. If I sorry, insert mode. I'm in normal mode. If I do a comma right now, okay, it worked. Okay, it works in that too. Okay, that's good. So there are some settings. Okay, you can use these things to enable in different mode, enable only normal mode, to enable in all functions and stuff like that, and enable just for HTML, CSS, because sometimes, for example, this is what is this? For example, this file has the extension .html, right? But if I just open any file, for example test, and if I now do insert HTML5 and do a comma, it again happened. So I don't want this to be happening in any file. I just wanted to I mean, XML is a similar structure, so I will include XML as well in HTML, CSS and XML. So for that we can copy this line, so that function just works for files with file type HTML, CSS and XML. So that we are going to add this, and I remember I haven't given this any comment. Let's give it Emmet, and let's go to the next line and paste this and add an XML at the end. XML, that should do it. Now if I do vim test and then insert HTML5 and I do comma, nothing is happening. So that's good. And if I do vim some sheet, and what this does here is there's not a particular thing, but if I, for example, you have an ID, right, called P, you do P and then comma, this thing can be done. If I do a hashtag a comma, this thing can be done, and dot, is that dot? I don't remember. So I mean, things like these can be done in the file. So in the web stuff related to web development, you can do. There are many other things. There are many other shortcuts that are very helpful. Okay, let me show you a little bit. I don't remember much. I haven't used it much. Wait a minute, I had it right somewhere. I have it. I might be having it in templates. Okay, let me show you. We remember NERDTree, right? What that helps us is like this also. If I do vim and maybe the location, or maybe a directory name, or maybe just the current directory using dot, it will open up this thing, right? You can see it will open up a kind of browser, file browser. So if I do shift I to show the hidden folders as well, I have it. What's in SSH? Okay, no private keys. Okay, so let's go into that template thing. I think, yeah, here it should be. We have a cheat sheet, we have an example here. Yeah, let me open it in a okay, so this was there's a YouTuber called Mental Outlaw. He prepared a video on how to use Emmet, so I just followed him, saw how to do. I'll link that video, that YouTuber as well, if you want to see him, you can look. So the first thing is tag expansion with dot. So what happens here is, let me show you. This is an HTML file, right? Yeah, I mean it has extension HTML, so it should be taken as HTML. So for example, if you want anchor tag, right, I do a, then I do comma. See this anchor tag is created, href and stuff like that. I can undo that. And for example, I mean any tag that doesn't even exist, if I do as comma, that tag gets created. I mean in terms of XML, that can be used, right, in XML. So that's that. Now the second thing was nested expansion. Okay, so what I can do is, yeah, we can create a div one. Okay, the examples are written here only. Let me uncomment this. Okay, yeah, we use GCC, right? So this is a different type of command. If I do GCC here, it gets uncommented, GCC commented. So the GCC is smart, right? So if I do a comma at the very end here, right, what it is doing is it is doing the, what do you say, the nested expansion. These I and e that's a different thing, sorry. They should, I mean okay, I'll tell about that later. Let me just comment that. For example, if I want to create for example a division, right, so I'll give it div 1 and then div 2, then for the next division, and it will create stuff for me like that. I'll undo that, do everything. Okay, now the next thing is creating lists with index. I mean there are many things that you can do. You can, okay, I'll link the video. You can he explains it very properly, the similar things. So in the end I just tried if I learned things or not. So I just made this thing. So what this does is, if I do a comma, see a single line, right, a single line. If I do a comma, this gets converted into HTML with no title, but yeah, a header with a class and a paragraph and stuff like that. So that's cool. Okay, so let's exit out of here. You are in here, let's exit out of here as well. So that's a very good use of Emmet, and you can learn more about it. There's a cheat sheet as well of Emmet. Let me remove that index thing. So we have installed Emmet, I think, yeah, and you can see those things whatever I have used. So let me close this up, and now, yeah, okay, one more thing is changing the color schemes, right? This is the last thing, maybe, yeah, most probably. So I have told you that we can change wait a minute, color schemes like this, right? If I do color scheme or COL or whatever, and so these are some options, right? We can see these options, right? Some options. For example, if I do industry, this is that. If I do preferred, this is that. If I do Pablo, so what I'm trying to say is these are default color schemes, right? If you want some color scheme, there's a famous one that is let it open. There's a famous one that is mostly used by many people. I mean, there are many that are used by many people, but I like this one a little bit also, called Jelly Beans color scheme. That's by Nanotech. So if we open that up, what we can do is we can just maybe, yeah, we can, it will give us installation via, okay, we can just do it via Vim plug. It says we'll just have to include this thing in the plug here, and it will be inside. Or okay, let me show you one different thing. So let me just search for Vim color schemes, and yeah, this is a thing that helps, that gives many color schemes. No, where is it, man? Flash, no, just a second. What does it have? And okay, so it gives us a number of color schemes, right? But there was color schemes. Just a second. Maybe no, yeah, this one, Rafi. Hold on, this one. Even let me, okay, so this one, what it does is it is a repository that offers you these many color schemes. There are many different color schemes. So let me show you. Let's just plug this in. This is via Vim plug. But if you want to know what color scheme we are using right now, you can just type color scheme and then hit enter. It will give you. We are using Pablo right now. Pablo, whatever. So let's plug this, and let me show you. To change color schemes, let's do plug install. Okay, one more thing regarding that. So before that, let's do plug install, and it will install the stuff. It installed those things. Now we can use any color scheme. You can see there are many color schemes available here. It just changed, right? So many color schemes, I mean all those that are included here. So for example, it might be containing jelly beans, yeah. So this is one of the famous color schemes. There are many other color schemes. Let, for example, this one, Gotham, right? Gotham color schemes, GitHub. Oh my, okay, wait, this one something. There are many different types of color schemes you can play with. You can choose whichever you like. This one's nice as well. This is a color scheme, and for example nord color schemes, the Growbox, this is a color scheme. So there are many other different kinds of color schemes that you can choose from, but what I think is it installs many different color schemes, right? If I show you vim, okay, wait, so it opens the directory vim. Let's go to .vim. We can see a new, okay, no new directories. Okay, there's COC settings are different. Okay, what generally happens is you have to make for colors where by default vim takes the files for color schemes is a directory within the vim called colors. So what I'm trying to say here is, for example, if I open vim, right, we have, you can say, many color schemes, and many of these we are not going to use, right? Like this one, there are many of these we are not going to use, so why waste the space then? Just select anyone. For example, if you I would like to use jelly beans, so I can just go ahead, use jelly beans, and download jelly beans, the vim file for jelly beans, and paste it in the colors directory and use it. So what I'm going to do is, if you have good amount of resources and if you want to switch between as many as possible, as many color schemes as possible, you can do that. But I'm going to remove this thing, and I'm going to do plug clean, and it will ask me whether I want to delete. I'll say yes, remove it. And now if I come back, I can see that I don't have much color schemes. I'm back to the defaults because I don't want to increase the color schemes that I have now. For example, particular jelly beans color scheme, for example, I want to use just this one. I can go to the repository. Now there are two ways. You can either use vim plug, copy this thing, and then do the plug thing here, and then it will be available. You can just do color schemes jelly beans, or you can just go to the colors here. Here is jellybeans.vim. You can click on that. You can see its raw format maybe. Then copy the link, Control C. Now what's important is you are now going to the cd vim vim.vim directory. Now we are going to do a make. What is this coc.settings or this? And maybe it's, let me see, just a second. Okay, it's for clang. So we are going to make a directory called colors colors. We are going to go into that directory, right, and we are going to download that file, the jellybeans, that raw thing that we just got from here, and it downloaded for us. We have jellybeans.vim. Now if we go to the vimrc, if I do color schemes, we will be able to find jelly beans here, right there. We see jelly beans, and if I want to use just this color scheme, I'm good with that. I can just use, or maybe 3-4 more color schemes, I can just look them up. For example, this one more color scheme, just let's go with vivid chalk, maybe vivid chalk. Maybe these are not good. Okay, it's by T-Pop, the one who was behind that commenting thing, right? And go to here in the vim, see its raw form. You can just maybe copy it as well. Control C. Let me quit. Let me go back where I was in the colors. Let's wget this thing. We have 2 downloaded color schemes. Now if I go back and if I do vimrc, okay, I'm not back yet. Now I'm back. If I do vimrc, now if I try to look for all the color schemes I have, you can see I've got jelly beans there, as well as something called vivid chalk. This is vivid chalk. So I mean, any color scheme you want, you can change it with that. And the last thing, and okay, wait. Now you don't have to open a file every time and do that thing, that change and select a color scheme. You can just set a color scheme like that. Set color scheme. For example, I want jelly beans, not equal to, but just the name. I do that. Okay, maybe equal to. Let's write in quit. Let's see. Okay, maybe that's not. Okay, it's not set, just color scheme. It's just a color scheme, not set. And it should work now. And it's not equal to. Okay, what am I doing? Now it should work. It would. Come on. Okay, so it worked, and we have set a color scheme as well, a default color scheme. Now the last thing is, you might have seen me doing this control sometimes when I do, and you might even do it. For example, sometimes you press shift and then WQ, which is not a valid command. The command is WQ, small. It's case sensitive, right? But to get around this, I mean, sometimes you can just, in a hurry, for example, let me yank that file thing, paste it here, and get a new line. Now what you can do is command statement maybe, and you can do WQ as WQ, command W as W, command Q as Q, command WQ as WQ, and that should not right now. That should do it. Let's do it. Now if I do capital WQ, that's working. Okay, so everything else must be working as well. Okay, it is. So so this was just a basic thing. Okay, wait, let me introduce you to one more thing called as, what do we call it, TagBar. This is helpful as well. Preserve him. That's why preserve him. I think there's one guy. Preserve him is here as well in NERDTRee, right? And he is here for TagBar as well. So it's your version of him should be this, and I think mine is valid. It's latest. Okay, so okay, okay, wait a minute. I was talking about creating a toggle thing, right, for NERDTRee. So let's do that. Paste it here, and no map maybe, and then Control T. The command is NERDTreeToggle. CR. Let's see if that works or not. Let's hope. If I do Control T, okay, and then again, so I'm using Control T to open and close NERDTree, just using that command, and command is as NERDTreeToggle. So that's that. And now I was talking about this TagBar, right? I'm not using it because it takes a lot of space. but I can show it to you if you have a good amount of resources. I'm actually running a virtual machine, as you might have guessed already. So on VirtualBox we are going to install this. Wow, and it also requires exuberant tags. So on Arch Linux, generally what that is you just have to do sudo pacman. Wait, let me show you this. Wait, let me check if I have it or not. C tags, I don't have it. That's a good thing. Okay, so we are going to just use the vim plug, copy this much and plug it inside the vimrc. As you can see, it's getting slow because I don't have a good amount of resources. But if, for example, if you use it on a thing called WSL, right? Yeah, if you use it on WSL on your main host, that might work perfectly fine. So I'm using TagBar. So I'm using TagBar here. I'm going to do plug install. So I'm going to do plug install, and then it should be installed. So we call it using TagbarToggle maybe, and it gives us an error that please download exuberant C tags. So from C tag source forge you can do that, or you can just, so simply if you are on a Debian based system, something like that, what you can do is you can use this thing, sudo apt install, and it's just called exuberant C tags. If you do this, not this but this, if you do this, you should be fine. But on our system, on our Arch Linux, we have to just install this thing. There's nothing called pacman. It's pacman. There's a thing. There's a person called Jackma. Okay, let's try to do that now. If I do TagbarToggle, it is working. So what it is doing is, let me show you. It gives us different things. I mean, different, you know how in object oriented programming we have different objects, so kind of that, little like variables, these now commands, these now. If I hit enter, we have created these maybe maps, key maps. If I hit on enter on that, it will take me wherever it is defined. For example, here it came here, right? If I go back there, for example, WQ, we are here. So it is helpful if you want. Now let me change the, for example, now, okay, let's go to tab. Okay, so if I do now a control T, the NERDTree is working fine. I can open up, for example, shift I. Let's open up no, not bash. Let's open up configuration of D menu maybe in a new tab, like that. Go to the first tab. So okay, so we have created control T toggle for NERDTree. Let's create a toggle for this thing, our TagbarToggle as well. Let's just quit out of there, out of here, put here, and let's go and create in this same maybe block, we create a TagbarToggle. So how will we do that? It might be written here. This command nmap, not the nmap that we use in scanning networks. It's to map the key in normal mode, nmap, So now if I do a function 8 key, if I press that, the TagBar toggle opens up. If I press it again, TagBar opens up. It when goes away. Control T for this, and example, let's open some files. Let's go to vimrc file here. Let's go back. Let's close this. Let's open a Python file. So we got a Python file as well. Code is here. Okay, so this is a little bit, this is a basic setup of Vim as an IDE. I'm going here and there via the GT for switching tabs. I can close that now, and so let's close everything. And so I would say, I think everything is complete now. The basics of setting up our what is this, Vim editor as a IDE are complete. There are many other features that can be added, but this was just a basic overview, basic overview of how you can convert your Vim editor or NeoVim editor, any editor, text line based Vim, NeoVim, not any, into a somewhat similar thing to an IDE and use that. So okay, there's also one thing, plugin called Terminal. You can use that. You can integrate a terminal inside the Vim environment without going out and stuff like that. So you can check that out by yourself. So that I'll say thank you for watching, and I'll maybe power off the machine. Let's power off the machine. And once again, thank you for watching.